purpose of this tutorial is to introduce you to the process in which we can take data from a table in a spreadsheet and create a graph of information or chart of information from it. Our goal in this tutorial will be to create a circle graph, more specifically, or I say circle graph, pie chart, pie graph, has many different names, but even more specifically than that, a three-dimensional pie chart or pie graph is what we're looking at here to represent our data. So we'll kind of walk you through this process here and talk about how to create that. Now, the first thing that you want to do is you want to highlight the information in the table to get started. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight everything, including the column headers and the row headers. So I'm going to highlight all of that. Now we may not use all of it here, but let's go ahead and highlight it anyway and see what happens. We may have to go back and make some changes here and stuff, but let's try that for right now. So we're going to highlight that. And the controls now for creating a graph or chart, they call it charts, graphs, are probably more specific here. But anyhow, this is the button right here that we want to use to do that. Okay, so we can go ahead and click where it says Insert Chart here. Okay, and a new window will pop open here where the controls are to do this. Now, you can see that there's lots of different ways to create some tables or graphs. Sorry, not tables, but graphs, or what they call charts here. Okay. Now, again, as I mentioned to you, we want to make a pie graph or pie chart out of this. These are all bar graphs and line graphs, but you can see where you might be able to do some of these things. Now, some of them aren't inappropriate. So, for example, a line graph would not be appropriate for this information. Okay, but a bar graph certainly could be. Let's go up here where it says charts, because this is where you can kind of change some things. And notice that there are a lot of options here. When we talked about infographics and some of the tactics that we use in infographics, there's lots of options here for this. So we're looking at pie graphs right now. Now, you notice they're kind of grayed out right now, and that's because we don't have the data quite formatted right in here. We got to go back to start, and we got to click where it says switch rows and columns here. That's going to help us out. And notice down here now, it opened up the possibility of a pie chart here in what they offered. So let's go back over to charts now, because we want to get a specific kind of chart. I want the 3D one. Kind of looks a little bit cooler, I think, than this one does. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this. And you notice now what it does is it puts the information into a pie graph for us. And we have all of our colors over here. Now, the only thing that kind of stinks is that I could not figure out how to match the colors of the pie piece to the actual color of the M&M. I know I can do it in some other programs like Numbers and in Excel, but for some reason I cannot find that. So if anybody finds that, let me know. Be a little extra credit for you. I did some Google searching. I couldn't find it there either. So I'll try to do some more research, and if we do come up with a solution, we can do that. Now, there are ways to kind of customize what your chart looks like, and that's in the customizable piece here. Okay. First thing is I can change my title, and I don't really want chart title here, so I'm going to go in here and change this. Okay. To I'm just going to call it M&M color data. And when I hit enter there, return, you notice that my title has changed. Okay. And we still have our colors here. And what we can also do is we can change things like the size. If you want to make the font larger there, you could. You can make it a little bit bigger. Maybe you want to change the actual font. I guess they don't give you that option. Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. You can change the font type for the type of font that you want. Maybe you want Comic Sans MS, so it kind of changes that for you. Everything kind of changed. I can make my actual legend a little bit bigger here. Now, it does have colors in here, but it's just the font colors. I don't see it for the actual colors for this. You can change the background color if you like. So if you want to put in something that's not being currently used right now, that's a little bit too much like Brown's color here. So we're going to have to maybe change that up a little bit. But you can kind of goof around with that if you want. I'm going to give it just a slight hue. All right, for mine. And there's some other things you can do. So feel free to do that. Now, it does say slice here. So maybe I just learned something. Let me go ahead and highlight this one if I can. Well, now see, it doesn't really allow me to change that. So again, you just kind of keep on the lookout here. Now you can. I'm sorry, this was actually for the font color, isn't it? So you can change the font color if you want, and if you want to change the size, you don't have to use percents either. If you want to use, let's say, just the value, the actual information from the from your table, you can do that. So these are the actual numbers here. But let's keep it as percent because I think that offers us a little difference. Kind of tells us what percentage of the total bag of M&Ms, because that's kind of what we're recreating here. We're taking an average bag of M&Ms and recreating that way. So of those, 25% of my bag was green, and so you can kind of see it that way. Now once we're done making our chart here, or graph, we can go ahead and click Insert, and that will add it to our spreadsheet. Okay. Now, of course, we don't want it over top of our data, so we need to kind of move around. Now, be careful because I accidentally tried to move the background there. Okay. And right now we're in the edit mode, so let's go ahead. We're really done editing it now. You can go in here and actually, look at this. I just stumbled across the way to fix this. Holy moly! All right, so if you wanted to change this to match the color, in this case it's brown. I did not figure this out before, so this is new for me. We're in uncharted territory. Let's say I'm a little colorblind. Let's say that says dark red berry. I'm trying to find brown here, guys. I don't even know what's on our lid. Let's just make this one brown because it's kind of close. Okay, to that. This piece is supposed to be red, so I can change this to a red. Okay, notice it's changing it there. So this is cool. This is supposed to be orange, so I can change this to orange. This was supposed to be yellow, so I can change this to yellow. This is supposed to be blue, so I'm going to change this to blue. And I believe this is supposed to be green, so let's change this to green. So there we go. Here, right in the middle of a tutorial, I solved the problem. So you can kind of make the colors match if you want anyway. Now once you're done editing here, guys, you're going to go ahead and click the I button here. And now what that's going to allow you to do is kind of move it around and maybe make it a little bit smaller. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller by going to one of the corners here and shrinking it down. I don't really need it that big. Okay, and I certainly don't want to be covering up any of my information. But there we go. There's creating a graph now of the data, okay, and putting it into a simple bar graph, or in this case we used a pie chart, and we have some other options in there as well. So some cool things that we can do here as far as taking data and quickly putting it into a graph or chart.